Welcome to the American Legion interview. My name is Paul Harris. I'm the Media Relations Director in Washington, D.C. And with me today, I have Senator Jon Tester from Montana. And sir, thank you for coming on the program today. We're going to be talking about Agent Orange, something that is very important to our membership. And what was lacking in the VA's Agent Orange coverage that currently prompted you to create a bill that you're trying to push through Congress?
So we had a bill. I had a bill. We finally got to put in the National Defense Authorization Act to make sure that we wanted all the presumptives to be covered, but there were four of them: hypothyroidism, bladder cancer, Parkinsonism, and hypertension. We were able to negotiate because, quite frankly, if you want to really be honest about it, before Shulkin left, he was on the cusp of putting these presumptives in, and then he got canned or was forced to retire or whatever, however you want to interpret it. And they never got put in. And for the folks who served in Vietnam, the folks who are getting up there in years, they know better than me, and certainly better than anybody who didn't serve in Vietnam, that these sicknesses are real. And because of their service in Vietnam, they need to be covered, because folks who didn't serve in Vietnam don't get them as high a rate. And we have medical studies that bore that out. So the bottom line is, we had a bill, but I was really hoping the VA would just do it because it's the right thing to do. For whatever reasons, and I don't want to speculate, it chose not to do it. And so the NDAA came along. We wanted to get all four of them put in. We were able to negotiate three of the four. And the reason we didn't get hypertension is because the VA is waiting for two more studies. And Secretary Wilkie has assured me that by the end of the year, they're going to make a decision. Now, I'm going to tell you from my perspective, I think it ought to be covered. I think hypertension should be covered. We got the three covered, but hypertension should have been in there. And depending on what Secretary Wilkie does, we're going to continue to put pressure on. And if he says no, the studies don't bear that out, we're going to look at the studies. Because I think they're going to bear it out.
And talking about hypertension, in your opinion, why do you think that's a sticking point with the VA?
It's a better question for them, but I think it's money. And I will tell you that when we send folks off to war, money is never a problem. It doesn't matter if it's money we've got in the Treasury or borrowed money. Nobody ever talks about money. When you bring these folks back from war, money better not be an excuse, because it wasn't an excuse when you sent them over. If you can afford to send them over, you damn well better be able to afford to take care of them.
Speaking to the post 9/11 veteran generation like myself, are you starting to see similarities between, the coverage out there for Agent Orange and some of the kind of newer issues that we're starting to look at, like burn pits for that matter?
Yeah, I think there are some parallels with burn pits and Agent Orange. I think the issue is really more around the studies that have been done around Agent Orange. There's been a lot more of them done. And quite frankly, the science backs it up. I think we're getting there on burn pits. I don't think it's nearly as advanced as the Agent Orange research, but nonetheless, I think we need to pay attention to it. And I think we need to fund the research to see, to make sure that if our military folks were exposed to burn pits, and similarly as with Agent Orange, they have conditions that come about because of this exposure, we need to take care of it.
And how do we make sure the red tape surrounding medical coverage doesn't happen, for future generations of veterans that are out there?
Well, I think the first thing is we've got to do a better job of making sure the DoD transfers information to the VA, so that if these exposures to Agent Orange or burn pits or whatever it might be, that the VA knows that if a veteran was exposed. I think that's number one. Number two, I think we ought to make these databases public.
Right.
The other thing I would just say is that we need to make sure that your voices are being heard. And that's really where the veteran service organizations come in this case, the American Legion. You guys have tremendous power when VSOs speak with one voice. You have tremendous power when the American Legion speaks, period. And so I think that for veterans to belong to a veteran service organization like the American Legion, it really helps.
Sir, I'll give you the last word. Where can people who are passionate about this issue go to? How can they help? How can they reach out to you? How can they say, yes, we want this coverage?
Well, look, Paul, I think there's two groups here. There are the folks that have served, and there are folks who have benefit from the service of others. I think they both play an incredible role. And I think that if you're a civilian that have never served, I think you need to get on the computer or pick up the phone. And if you think, if your gut tells you it's the right thing to do, call up people like the senators, or in our case, our lone congressman, and say, hey, look, here's an issue that I'm concerned about. I didn't serve, but nonetheless, we have an all volunteer military, and I have received the benefits of the folks who have served in the military. So I want you to do right by these folks.
Thank you for fighting for our community there as well. Stay safe.
Will do. And thanks, Paul, for this opportunity to visit with your members.
All right. Thank you, sir.